spirit of the holidays, we want you to celebrate with your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicappers and do it at a discount by giving you a one-time 25% off everything you can fit into your cart between now and midnight on December 25th using coupon code GIFT25 when checking out. While this coupon can only be used once at Wager Talk and once at Sports Memo, the value is unlimited and there is no limit on what you can add to your cart when redeeming. Daily, all access, season, pick your team, and even mix and match handicappers as the combinations are endless. Remember, there is no limit to the number of handicappers at Wager Talk and Sports Memo you can lock in, but coupon code GIFT25 will expire at midnight on Christmas. On behalf of everyone at Wager Talk, Sports Memo, and Gold Sheet, we want to thank you for supporting us in 2022 by watching our videos, following us on social media, and trusting us with your wagers. However you celebrate, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Hey guys, happy Monday and welcome back here to Wager Talk TV. We hope you had a happy and profitable weekend. We're hoping to get you guys some winners here today on Puck Time. And I, of course, am Andrew McInnis. And today on Puck Time, I am joined by Bryan Leonard and Kevin Dolan. Carmine has the day off today. We'll see him again later in the week, I believe. We have 4 games we're breaking down here today on a Monday. We've got the Florida Panthers, Boston Bruins, Edmonton Oilers, Nashville Predators, Islanders Avalanche, and the Sabres and Golden Knights going head-to-head. Guys, before I bring in the guests for today, I want to let you guys know about a holiday special we have going on just for the Puck Time panel. Anybody you see this week on Puck Time, this promo code does apply for. That is PT30. Puck Time, of course, PT30 takes $30 off any 7-day all-access pass. So, again, this is not just for hockey. This applies for basketball, football. You'll get every single play that we release using that promo code PT30. You can take $30 off. So use that, guys, for Brian, for Kevin, for Carmine, for myself, for Prez, for Don Buster, and anybody that's a part of the Puck Time crew. This will be useful for. But let's bring in the guests. Let's start things off with Bryan Leonard. Brian, how are things, man?
Everything's going well. Thank you for having me on. I get to be on the show twice this week, so I'm pretty excited. It's my favorite show to be on. Love talking hockey with you guys. You're all very knowledgeable in that regard, so I'm always trying to learn. And I'm just like the watchers of the show and the viewers of the show, trying to pick your brains a little bit, and hopefully I can pick another winner doing that.
Hey, I learn a lot from you, Brian. That's for sure, and I'm happy to have you on. It's going to be a good week. Let's have a good week leading up to Christmas here in the holiday season. It's always nice when you're making money in December, so let's try and find some winners. Kevin Dolan, I'll bring you in. How are things, man?
Yeah, all good, Andrew. A bit sad to see the World Cup come to an end yesterday, but what a final we got to see if you tuned into that one. Probably one of the best finals of all time, epic stuff. But back in the world of hockey, we're hitting some big underdog winners right now. Right now, we had the St. Louis Blues plus 160 on Thursday. Also sent out, for those who follow the free picks page, Philadelphia Flyers plus 245. Which was a nice outright winner against the Devils as well. So, yeah, good weekend. We had the Jets, Tampa Bay under. Fell short in the Jets last night as well as big underdogs. But, yeah, everything's going well right now. And got another big 4% totals play up for tonight as well.
You got to love cashing those big underdog tickets. It's always a fun time. And I'll tell you what, Kevin, that was an awesome World Cup to watch. Shout out to you guys on Stoppage Time. I hope people tuned into your show. It's always a fun show. I watch it. And you guys definitely made people some money on that show. And, man, that World Cup, it's so crazy to see. The numbers haven't come out yet. But obviously the word world is in there. But people talk about Super Bowl numbers and, NBA championship and how many people are watching that. I mean, the numbers that the World Cup final produced makes the Super Bowl look like a rerun. I mean, it makes it look like a TV show that nobody's watched in years. I mean, it's unbelievable. The billions we're talking about from people watching. And I was with some family that not really huge soccer fans, but when it's an event like that, everybody wants to tune in. Everybody wants to watch and check it out. So it was a crazy, crazy match. And hopefully we'll get some good hockey games tonight with some competitiveness just like that. And the first game we're going to talk about here, I think should be very, very competitive. Let's get into it with the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers here. Obviously, the odds don't really dictate that it should be incredibly close, I guess, but minus 195 for the Boston Bruins at home, where they have been just so great. Florida plus 165 total at 6.5 here in this game. And the Florida Panthers, they're off a short underdog victory, I guess, against the New Jersey Devils. And I'll tell you what, Brian, I'm going to talk about this later on in the show, but I think the Florida Panthers are a team that I've got my eye on to potentially start, gaining some traction. Of course, some new players in the team. You add Matthew Tkachuk, you take away Huberdeau. There's going to be some adjustments made with them, and I feel like they've kind of found their footing a little bit. But, of course, another tough test now for them to go against the Boston Bruins, a team that well, they don't lose much, and they also don't lose much at home here. What are your thoughts, Brian, on this game?
Yeah, I know when you do your bet on and bet against teams, you're looking for regression. And Kevin mentioned going up against the New Jersey Devils. We've seen regression out of New Jersey. They haven't played well even in wins. Their expected goals haven't been very good. So as long as they continue to overprice the New Jersey Devils, that's a team that we can take advantage of right now. Florida in the month of December, their goals plus or minus per 60, 5-on-5 play is plus 1.58, very impressive. But when you take a look at the expected goals, they should only be plus 0.25. So we could see some regression in that regard. In fact, if you take a look at what Florida's done, they've been very good against the bad teams on the road and struggled against the better teams. And of course, we know Boston has one of those better records. You're probably the best record in hockey. I haven't checked in the last few days, but I know they lost a couple games. But like the Boston side here, but this line, you mentioned it, is a little too high for me to get involved in. The regression for Boston is starting to show up as well, but not to the extent of the Devils. But it's tough to lay this kind of number against a quality team in Florida. We saw what Florida could do last year in the regular season. They didn't take that into the playoffs, but Boston right now may be a little bit overrated, but I can't go against them at home, especially after a loss. And we saw what happened the other day when they lost to Vegas at home and came back and played in a nice game after that. So prefer the Boston side, but not enough to lay this big number.
It is a big number for a matchup. I think could be close, could be competitive. And I was talking about this with someone the other day about really just with Boston. They have that line, their top line, that at one point was called the perfection line by many people, right? And the three guys, and sometimes they were getting separated, they were getting split up this year. But a lot of people don't realize this. The Boston Bruins have statistically, I think, the best third line in hockey, if not the top 5 third line in hockey. Why do I bring that up? Well, it's because it's not just a couple players that are doing the work. And what's so great about that for the Bruins is that if one or two players are having an off night, it doesn't mean that they're going to have an off night as a whole team. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl aren't playing very well, it probably means the Oilers aren't playing very well. It isn't really the case as much with the Boston Bruins. I actually have a lean towards the under in this game personally. I think Florida can step things up defensively. I think Boston's been playing pretty well defensively at home, and I just feel like that's Florida's new style they'd like to play in. I think they're trying to escape that old style they had last year and earlier this year, playing in these first to 4 goals wins. It's tough to do against the Boston Bruins, but I think we could see a defensive game, Kevin. What do you think?
Completely agree with Brian. I've said this from day one myself, that even with the kind of, slight regression we've seen from the Bruins that Brian mentioned, they're slightly patchy or formulate. It's going to take an awful lot for me to jump in front of them at the same time, given how well they've started the season so far, or until at least I see some major kind of regression from them, which, hasn't arrived yet. Ullmark's expected in nets tonight for the Bruins, and we all know how good he's been this year. Number 1 goalie in the league by quite a stretch, 1.83 goals against per game, 0.93 save percentage as well, 19.52 GSA average. He's number 1 right across the board in pretty much every category. And, he's a large part of the reason why Boston have been so good defensively this year. They're boasting the number one scoring defense in the league at 2.13 goals against per game. And they've also got the lowest opponent shot conversion percentage this season as well, just 7.4% on average. So that feeds into your under as well, Andrew. I made the Bruins a slightly bigger favourite in this one, going off my power rankings. So like Brian, I leaned to them here. But this is a high number. And the reason for that is the Panthers have been a little bit suspect defensively this year for me. 20th on overall scoring defense this year. They've given up 27 power play goals against as well. That's one of the worst marks in the entire league. And, guess who ranks number 3 in offensive power play percentage this season? In the Bruins. So all signs kind of point to Boston for me to get the victory in this one. I potentially look to take the Bruins in regulation tonight. Boston has seen 19 out of 24 wins come inside regulation. And we probably see another one tonight. So, yeah, for me, Boston Bruins in regulation, minus 115. I think that's a fair price.
It is nice to get that price down a little bit, and it's unbelievable what they've been able to do at home, and especially even when they're losing games, it seems to be like they're losing in overtime or a shootout. So it's been a really, really good Boston Bruins team this year. And you hold that Stanley Cup ticket, I believe, Kevin. And I'll keep on telling you this. I wish I spoke to you before the season, and I bet the under on their points because, man, was I wrong. And I feel pretty dumb about that. But hey, we're gonna make those bets every year. It's rough, but I hope you cash your ticket so I'll feel a little less bad about myself. But 25-1, is that what it is for you?
Yeah, 25-1. Yeah, so
awesome.
Yeah, we'll have a big summer, Andrew. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. All right, let's get into the next game here with the Oilers and Nashville Predators. I talked about an under in the first game, guys, and I'll tell you what, I like an under here in the second game as well. Looking at the Oilers minus 135, Nashville plus 115, total at 6.5. It is shaded towards the over here. Taking a look at Nashville, they have lost 6 straight games. The Oilers have lost 2 straight games. And realistically, guys, I mean, I continue to harp on this, but this Nashville Predators team simply cannot score. They just don't have the goal scorers. They don't have enough options. And what I forgot to talk about, or kind of what I meant to follow up there with Kevin when he was talking about the Bruins game, is the power play. How much different a power play can make or break a team or a total. And the Boston Bruins are in that category, and so are the Edmonton Oilers. If they get a few power plays, they certainly could get a bunch of power play goals. But as far as this Nashville Predators team is concerned, they aren't scoring goals, but they kind of drag teams into more of low-scoring hockey games, which is, I guess, the only style they can really play since they only score like 2.6 goals a game or less than that. But when I look at this Nashville team, they're completely struggling right now. Edmonton's off 2 losses. And when I take a look at their losses, they weren't really pretty. They were both 1-goal losses, but they're allowing too many chances. They're allowing teams to get into the zone way too easily. And I think this is kind of a get-right game. So to me, this seems like it's almost a perfect situation where the Oilers are off 2 losses. They'll be eager to get back, play some solid hockey, protect their own end, and against the Nashville team that I don't think really trades goals with anybody. But as far as this price, I got to say, Kevin, it does feel kind of light to me. What do you think?
Yeah, same, Andrew. I actually wrote a preview article on this game earlier this morning over at the Wager Talk news site. And again, like I have before in this show, I'd encourage anyone to head on over there if they haven't already done so and check that page out. It covers multiple sports, obviously. I believe you've posted some UFC plays as well over there, Andrew. So it is a great resource tool to use for anyone looking to bet in sports. And, I basically said in that article that Edmonton are likely the side to play in this one. I was on the Blues in their shootout win over Edmonton last Thursday, as I said, plus 160, which was a nice price. But, despite getting the win in that one, I was looking at a 3-1 hole midway through the third period in that game. St. Louis really had to rally back, push that one into overtime and eventually get the win. And, it was almost a similar kind of situation on Saturday as well for Edmonton. The Oilers lost the game outright, obviously, to the Anaheim Ducks, but they absolutely bossed that game. 49 shots to 17. If it wasn't for kind of a standout game by Lucas Dostal in nets, they probably should have got the win. So, while on the surface it's been back-to-back losses for Edmonton over the last couple of games, it could just as easily be us talking here about back-to-back wins for the Oilers. They were very close to winning both of those games. And on top of that as well, the Oilers have absolutely dominated this Predators team over recent meetings as well. 8 straight victories now for the Oilers in this series. They've beaten this Predators team twice already this season. Both of those wins coming by multiple 3-goal margins. The Oilers scoring 6.5 goals per game across that run as well. So, look, as you said, Nashville can't score, so I can only look one way in this one. The line is a little light, so it does make you pause for a second. But yeah, it's simply Edmonton or pass for me tonight.
All right, Kevin, looking towards the Oilers. And yeah, we do encourage people to check out the Wager Talk news page. I know that there's all kinds of great articles. And the good thing is, like Kevin mentioned, it's not just one sport, not just football, not just basketball, not just hockey, everything over there. Lots of free plays, no charge over there on that page. You just get all kinds of nice articles. Brian, what are your thoughts here on this matchup, Oilers and Predators? We talk about regression. I mean, I'm curious your thoughts on this Predators team, because obviously they're probably better than they've been playing lately. But do we really want to try and hope that they start getting their act together tonight?
Yeah, that's your concern here, is they're coming back home after back-to-back losses. Been on a losing streak here. You're going to get your best game out of Nashville in this one, but will it be good enough? Kevin talked about the domination for Edmonton, 8 straight, 8-1-1 in this series as of late. And the only concern I have about, we're looking for it to be a lower scoring game. Leon Draisaitl has played 2 games against Nashville this year. He's got 10 points in 2 games. You go back over his last 11 games against Nashville, he's got 30 points. So I'm not a prop guy, but I could just imagine what the Draisaitl points and scoring a goal and that kind of thing is for this game. But he, for somehow, is just dominated this Preds team. I don't know if it's a speed situation for Nashville. They're just a step slow when they play a quality offense like Edmonton. But I wouldn't want to play the under here, at least from the Edmonton standpoint. Maybe you better play, but maybe play Nashville under, which makes a little bit more sense to me. But yeah, Edmonton coming off of those 2 losses, they're coming in this game confident. They've been beating up on this team, so I like that side. I just wish that Nashville had at least 1 or 2 wins as of late, so maybe they could look past this or maybe not get full attention. But if you're playing at home and you've got a losing streak going, you've got to come out and play hard. That right now is the only thing that keeps me off of Edmonton, but I still think Edmonton's the right side here if I had to pick this one.
The expectation is certainly a big performance, a desperate one, a hungry one, whatever words we want to throw out. We're just curious if all those words will mean anything and if they can actually match up against the Oilers. Like you mentioned, it is a spot. They're going to want to come out. They're going to be coming a little, looking for revenge after some tough losses they've been a part of. Brian, I just looked it up while you were talking there. So the points prop for Draisaitl. So most players have over 0.5 points. For Draisaitl and McDavid, they have over 1.5 points in their games. So McDavid is minus 155 to get over 1.5 points. Draisaitl is plus 100. So, I mean, I know McDavid scores like every game, but I feel like that's crazy that he's that much of a difference. There's value on Draisaitl, I would say, but it is crazy that these guys, I mean, to put things in perspective, other players are like, in the, plus 155 area for 1.5 points. Some players on the Oilers are like minus 120 to get 1 point. And McDavid is minus 155 to get 2 points, which is just crazy to think about. But I do like the under in this game, so I'm going to hope for potentially a lower scoring Oilers victory. Also, I don't usually throw these out, but I do want to say this could have the potential for a draw. I think that it could be one of those games where Nashville tries to keep things close. We see a better defensive performance from the Oilers, and there's always some good value on that. So I do try and throw that out when I can, guys. And once again, that promo code, we do have PT30. That is applicable for all 3 of us here on the show today. And everybody that joins us on Puck Time all week long, PT30 will take $30 off a 7-day all-access pass. It's also $9 Monday at wagertalk.com. Every single play released, every single play posted is available for just $9. I think it's important to mention, guys, that it's not just plays for today. I feel like people might not always know that. If you have a play up for the weekend or for Thursday night football, anything like that that's posted today, the price is listed for just $9. So wanted to make sure I got that across, because I feel like some people kind of have those questions sometimes, and I want to make sure people are aware. Let's jump into the Islanders and Colorado Avalanche game here. This is a Colorado Avalanche team that definitely has dealt with some injuries. You know, they're minus 160 here. The Islanders are plus 140. And you take a look at this Avalanche team, they're trying to get healthier. They're trying to be a team that can, stop having to deal with these issues and lineup changes. But the coaches' quotes don't really seem to be getting any better. It's, the start of every press conference with this team is pretty much them updating the fans and the media about the lineup stuff here. And for the New York Islanders, they're plus 140, totals at 5.5. And I want to start by saying this, how rare is it, Brian, for us to see a 5.5 with the Avalanche? I know you're not a huge total guy, but you got to say, I mean, over the years, getting a 5.5 with this Colorado team, something must be going on as far as their lineup goes if we're seeing a 5.5 with them, even if they are playing the Islanders.
Yeah, the Islanders just played in Vegas, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like to play a lot of totals, is the game doesn't play out the way the totals suggest. For example, in that Vegas game, the Islanders in Vegas, both teams very tight the first period. Neither team wanted to make a mistake. Vegas has been down some of their top scorers. Obviously, Eichel's not there. And the game was 1-0, I believe, after the first period. And my wife turns to me, she goes, under the total. And I says, yeah, I know you always say that after the game has started. But as we watch the game and then the Islanders start to get a little bit of a lead, then all of a sudden Vegas has to pull the goalie and the game scores 7 goals. And it was a clear under game in which you lost in that regard. And that's what you got to take a look at when you're playing the totals. And also, I know we like to play a lot of people like to play the minus 1.5 and the plus 1.5, but it all comes down to, at the end of the game, if a goalie has to be pulled. And the way Vegas is scoring, that's something that we got to be concerned about. But, the Islanders in the month of December in 5-on-5 play, goals plus or minus, they're plus 0.57. And that is on the expected goals. They're actually even on goals. So you look for a little bit more aggression going towards the Islanders side in this. As I'm sure that was a confidence-building win coming into Vegas, a place that used to be a house of horrors for a lot of teams, but no longer is. But this is their 4th game of 5 straight road games going up against Colorado here. I've been watching Colorado closely here because you're seeing a lot of weird lines, as you mentioned, from what we normally see out of them. And, in the month of December, they have a minus 1.11 goals plus or minus per 60 in 5-on-5 play, but their luck hasn't been very good. They're actually plus 0.29 in that regard for expected goals. So you got two teams that should be a little bit better than what they have, especially Colorado, a team that I think has some value right now because of all the injuries that they've had. They're playing better than their results show. And you take a look at the last 2 weeks, Colorado's only left home just once. All their games have been at home. I believe they went to St. Louis for one game. So they're rested. They have not been on the road. It's a better situation for Colorado here than it is for the Islanders. I prefer the Colorado side here. I think it's a fair number. I'm not huge on this card today. I couldn't find any big plays to release for Monday football, or excuse me, Monday hockey. But I think the line is a little bit cheap for Colorado here. And I'm looking to fade the Islanders a little bit. So give me Colorado, and we may come back and test this a little bit later when we get to best bets.
I love it. I think it's an interesting scenario to look at just based on, like we said, about the lineup stuff and players being in and out of the lineup for Colorado, but it doesn't take away from them still being a solid hockey team. And overall, they still have gotten some guys back. Val Nichushkin was out for a little bit of time, and I believe Evan Rodriguez is back. Taking a look at the lineup right now, top line is Lehkonen, Comper, and Rantanen. then Newhook, Rodriguez, and Nichushkin. So obviously, missing guys like Landeskog and Nathan McKinnon are huge. It's like, it's missing two of your best players in the team. But you're also playing an Islanders team that just might not be on the same level as Colorado. It's one of those games that, I think definitely had to be put on the card here for us to break down, because all three of us could have different opinions here. What's going to happen? I'm curious, Kevin, what you think about this matchup. I expect goals. I think that it's a low total. The Islanders have been going over, especially on the road. They've given up goals recently. Despite those injuries, I mean, Colorado still has talent on their roster. I think we could see some goals here. I don't really care who is scoring the goals. But what do you think, Kevin, in this one?
Well, it's funny you mentioned three different opinions, Andrew, because I've got zero on this game. It's the only game on the card. I honestly, I make this line right around the same number on the side. In terms of the total, I'd be slightly more inclined towards taking the under, even at the number it is right now. Just because both teams rank top 13 in the league on opponent high danger conversion percentage. Colorado have a top 10 rated defense on expected goals against as well. But honestly, this is a game. It's a straight pass for me. I'm going to swerve it. I just don't see an edge on either the side or the total in this game.
And that's all right. It's better than forcing a play. And like I said, it's one of those ones where it's fun to talk about, but it's also a very unusual handicap, I think, especially like Brian talked about with the travel angle here for the Islanders. I always find it funny, Brian, when teams play Arizona and Vegas, just because, or especially playing Arizona, because you're going from two such different types of hockey teams, different styles, scoring abilities, and it's just a weird road trip to go out there and play teams like that and have to, because let's be honest, guys, we always talk about this. I don't like to throw out the cliche handicapper terms of let down and look ahead and stuff, but let's be honest here. Some teams go into Arizona motivated and some teams don't. Like, I actually prefer to bet on teams against Arizona when they're off a loss. I don't like when a team is on like a 5-game winning streak and then they go into Arizona because like they might not even care about being there, So it's been a really interesting road trip for the Islanders overall when they're playing some good teams, playing some bad teams. And we'll see how they show up tonight against Colorado. One last game, then best bets, of course, in my buy and sell segment at the end of the show. The Buffalo Sabres, Vegas Golden Knights. I'm sure you'll have some opinions on this one, Kevin, for us. Vegas minus 180, Buffalo plus 150, total at 6.5. It's funny because these teams, ever since the trade with Jack Eichel, they always seem to have like a rivalry that's formed. But who would have ever thought in the NHL, the Buffalo Sabres and Vegas Golden Knights would have a rivalry? That's kind of a weird rivalry here. But if you want the puck line to avoid the 180, that is plus 145 on Vegas. The other way with plus 1.5 is minus 170 for the Sabres. But Kevin, what do you think in this game?
Well, I mean, you're right at the top of the segment, Andrew. I do have an opinion on this game. It's pretty strong as well because it's going to be my best bet. On the side, so I'll just touch briefly on the total here instead. Craig Anderson, Logan Thompson are expected in nets tonight for either team in this one. At least going by latest reports anyway. And they've been really solid this season in nets. Both guys. Both Anderson and Thompson ranked top 10 in the league in GSA average this year. Craig Anderson ranks top 6 in total save percentage. Logan Thompson has 2 shutouts already this season as well. So, you're really talking about 2 elite level guys here. And, provided both of them start, that would have you naturally looking towards the under. But, and it's a big but, when you start to delve into the numbers here, the over really starts to make a lot more sense for me in this one. Vegas ranks 3rd in expected goals this year. On the other side of the puck, they're allowing the 22nd most shots in the league to opponents this year as well, while, Buffalo have been really poor defensively, obviously, this year. The Sabres are allowing 3.45 goals per game this year in scoring defense. They've given up 29 power play goals as well. They ranked 27th on defensive XGA, 25th on opponent high danger creation rate as well. So while you're dealing with kind of 2, elite level keepers, fine margins here, taking an over with those kind of guys in nets provided they start. If there's any kind of dip off or if anyone doesn't make the start here, I definitely think we see this one go over the total here. Yeah, and I like that over 6.5 between the Sabres and the Golden Knights in Vegas tonight.
And of course, you'll be touching on this side a little bit later on in the show, just shortly, I guess, here in the show. And it is crazy, Brian, the amount of goals that both teams are capable of putting up. There's no lack of talent, no lack of. I mean, I think the Nashville Predators would love to borrow a few players from either of these teams to get some goals, maybe, especially from the Vegas Golden Knights. But Tage Thompson and a couple of those guys on the Sabres, very talented. I know you follow this team very closely, Brian. What do you think tonight, Golden Knights and Sabres?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Buffalo play. Don't get a chance to watch a lot of their games. I'm usually watching other games from the early time zones. But, Buffalo in the month of December has a goal plus or minus per 60, 5-on-5 of plus 1.10. That's awesome. But you got to take a look at the expected goals also, and it should be minus 0.25. So they've been very fortunate so far. And when you score 38 goals in your last 8 games, you're a little bit lucky. I mean, as well as they're playing, you don't score 9 goals in a hockey game very often, and they did that during this streak. They're playing great. The motivation for this game is obviously with Buffalo, because with the Jack Eichel trade, nothing pleases the fans more than watching Jack Eichel lose. Now, the problem is Jack Eichel's on the IL right now. He's not playing for Vegas tonight, so it makes a little bit of difference there, but that gives Buffalo a better chance to win this game. I've been a season ticket holder for the Knights the entire time, and I've never been to games in which the home fans booed the home team. They have done that this year, and I've joined them in a couple of times. So Vegas right now, they've got their backs to the wall. They don't have a winning record at home. They've lost 5 of the last 6 at home. The only win was an overtime thriller against the Philadelphia Flyers. This team is not playing well. They're playing shorthanded. Stone left last game halfway through the game. He did come back. I guess it was a stinger, so I guess he's expected to play here. But you got no Eichel. Pietrangelo came back. He had a family situation. Thank God it's worked out well for his daughter. So he's back, played last game. But this is a team that's going – they've already gone 3 or 4 players deep from the Henderson Silver Knights. So they keep bringing guys up from the minor league club just to fill the spaces of all the injured players they have. Buffalo has a ton of speed. Tuck, when he went to Buffalo, loved the guy. They've just got a ton of speed. And you mentioned the goal scorer that they have, Thompson, has been going crazy as of late. Vegas doesn't have a lot of speed right now in this lineup, missing some key guys. I'm looking at Buffalo. I'm looking to play Buffalo somehow in this game, even though there is some regression, obviously, from a goal scoring standpoint. But I can't bet Vegas at this number here. I'll end up with Buffalo or Buffalo plus the 1.5 in this somehow. But the way Vegas is playing, they're a team right now that don't deserve to be in this price range of the 180.
I would agree with that. And it has been a little bit different seeing the Vegas Golden Knights not be so dominant at home. You know, I remember when they first started that was their fortress. I think they were calling it, right, Brian? The Fortress? Is that what the nickname was? Yeah, I mean, they were just a different team at home, which is really cool, especially for a newer franchise. But things have changed. Where I'm looking for this game personally is the over 2.5 team total for the Buffalo Sabres. I think you can get it around 145, 150. Don't love that price, but I think with team totals, I'm a little more flexible with my prices, whether it's a plus or a minus like that. I just think that you see the plus 150, and you can do half bet money line, half bet, the puck line. You can make a +1 price, or you can do the team total. But I'm comfortable, guys, asking, this team to get 3 goals. I think that the Buffalo Sabres are capable of it. I know that the Vegas Golden Knights do have a good goaltender, but, it's like you both just spoke about with the speed the Buffalo Sabres have. Vegas can give up goals, and I think that taking a team total over in this game is just nice because it will take the Vegas Golden Knights completely out of the picture and let me just focus on one club and one club only, and the speed and the goal scorers from the Buffalo Sabres that, looking back on the matchups that they've played recently against Vegas, they have been able to find the net. They have been able to get 3 goals. So that's what I'm going to ask the Buffalo Sabres to do for me tonight. And I'll see if I can cash a ticket in the later game. Quickly, guys, I'll jump into the buy and sell, then we'll get to best bets here at the end of the show. Going to keep things short and simple here. I've got one team every single week I do this that I'm looking to bet on, and one team I'm looking to bet against. And making my buy list this week are the Florida Panthers. You know, a team that I cashed an underdog bet on a couple days ago, just short underdogs. But this is a team I think that it's ready to turn it on. And, you know, a lot of times, guys, I've looked at these schedules. I've looked at, you know, a team with a forecast against all kinds of bad teams. And, you know, I'm trying to let you guys know that it might be a good week to bet on that team. This is a little bit of a different scenario here this week. This is a Florida Panthers team that I think is going to be facing some tough competition. I mean, they've got the Bruins on tap tonight. They've got a rematch with the Devils. They're playing the Islanders, the Hurricanes, the Rangers. This is a Panthers team that I think to start the season off was just not playing to the level they're capable of. They're a much better team. I like the style they're turning into. If they can start winning low-scoring games, they will be a dangerous hockey team. And I think, guys, you'll get some good prices betting on this Panthers team over the next few games, potentially some underdog tickets as well with the Panthers. So keep an eye out on Florida. I believe they will kind of improve and start playing more steady hockey moving forward. My sell team, well, I don't really think this is too much of a off-the-charts pick, I guess, here, guys, with the Anaheim Ducks. Look, they're coming back off a road trip. I believe they have one more game left against the Kings on their road trip. Then they return home. But you know, they had a rough start to their road trip. They closed it off by scoring some goals. But plain and simple, this Ducks team does not seem to be able to hang line for line with most of the elite teams. I mean, there's a couple good players on the Anaheim Ducks, and then there is a big drop-off. You talk about tanking in the NBA. Well, this Ducks team should just start tanking so that way they can get the number 1 overall pick and have Trevor Zegras play with Connor Bedard, because that's all they should be thinking about. If you're an Anaheim Ducks fan, you should be thinking about the draft, because that's the best thing going for you guys probably in the next few months. So the Anaheim Ducks, to me, are a sell team. They're a team, especially after that road trip, I want to bet against. And if you guys don't like the big prices against them, take a look at team totals, as they do give up quite a bit of goals. So that's my segment here, guys, the buy and sell. We are buying the Panthers, and we are selling those Ducks, especially when they get back at home. Let's try and make some money with that. Let's wrap up this show with some best bets. And again, guys, we remind you that promo code PT30. Use it for Kevin. Use it for Brian. Use it for Carmine. You can use it for myself as well. Take $30 off an all-access 7-day pass. And Kevin, what are you handicapping right now? What's going on for you at wagertalk.com?
Yeah, we got a ton going on right now over Wager Talk, Andrew. Obviously, it's $9 Monday, as you said at the start. So we got our NHL breakaway total annihilator play up for later tonight. We got our NBA double dribble game of the night posted as well. If it isn't immediately already obvious to anyone right now, I name all of my plays of 80s and 90s video game franchises. So, you know, Blitz, Double Dribble, Breakaway. I used to love them games back in the 90s. So those are pretty hard to miss. Beyond that, we've got a huge 5% play locked and loaded for next week's college football semi-final playoff as well, which you can pick up for only $9 today. And as you said, PT30 gets $30 off a 7-day all-access pass. In terms of best bet, I'm glad Brian agrees with me. I'm going to return to the game we just talked about, and I'm happy to take the Buffalo Sabres on the puck line minus 170 tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. You know, I make this line a fair bit closer than what the bookmakers currently have it at. And, you know, I believe the Sabres team are a lot better than advertised as well. Because of that, I'd have no issue in taking a shot with Buffalo on the outright market either. You know, Vegas have covered just 2 of the last 6 matchups against the spread overall. And, you know, have a defense that ranks 17th in the league this season on opponent high danger conversion percentage as well. So, you know, as we already mentioned, you know, you guys especially, Buffalo should be able to put up, you know, a good few goals in this one offensively and cover this spread as a result. So, yeah, Buffalo Sabres for me later tonight, plus 1.5. If you want to sprinkle some on the money line, perfectly acceptable as well. But, yeah, that's what I like tonight, best bet.
Awesome stuff, Kevin. Always good to have you on the show. Good to see you and chat with you, man. And guys, make sure you check out Kevin over at wagertalk.com. And I love that play. That certainly correlates with my team total over for Buffalo. So hopefully, you know, if I cash, I think that means you cash as well. Let's cash that ticket. Brian, what's going on for you this week at Wager Talk? Obviously, it's $9 Monday. There's lots going on, and I know you always tell me, I believe you do quite a few shows on Monday. Is that true? So we can find you on some different shows as well?
Yeah, I'll be on the college basketball show today. They spread me out a little bit more this week, but Kevin talked about naming his plays based on video games. I'm so old, my plays would be named Pong. I got so excited when my parents got me the Pong, which is, if anybody is young, look it up on the internet. We were just talking about.
I'm doing
the
that right
Vegas
now,
game.
Brian. I'm doing that right now.
There you go. We're just talking about the Vegas Buffalo game, and Buffalo just got hit. So across the board, it's been bet down. I don't know if Vegas decided to use their backup goalie, but get that game in now because a lot of money's been coming in on it. I'm going to go back to the Colorado Avalanche at home here against the Islanders. There's 3 games that I'm looking at for clients tonight. Obviously, the Buffalo game we talked about, Colorado here, and Edmonton I think has some value. But for the best bet on the show today, I'm going to go back to Colorado here, a team that their expected goal value is much higher than what they've done in the month of December. Minus 1.11 goals per 60 in 5-on-5 play is bad, but they've actually been very unlucky in that regard. So I'm getting a team who's well rested. As I said, they've only left their home ice once in the last 2 weeks, 4th or 5th game at home. And the Islanders coming off that Vegas victory, which wasn't as impressive because I just think Vegas is a mess right now. I'll take Colorado. I think it's a fair number. Give me Colorado minus the number here is my best bet on the show.
I love it, Brian. I think that people are just dismissing this team completely after missing a few players. And let's not forget, a team does not win the Stanley Cup just because of 1 or 2 players. They win it because they have a great team. Those top players obviously mean a lot to the team, but they're still a good team without those guys. So, and Brian and Kevin, I think that if I was to name my packages after a video game, it would be like the NHL Call of Duty game of the night or something like that. That's my age right there. The Call of Duty game of the night, something like that. Again, guys, it is $9 Monday. All of our plays are $9. I will have an NHL package up after this show. You can get all the plays I am involved in on a pretty good run there in the NHL. Still doing very well, over 100% bankroll increase in 2022 for clients. So going to try and close out the year on a good note. And my best bet for this show, we're going back to a game we did speak about earlier in the show. I'm looking at the under 6.5, the Oilers Predators. I mentioned the Predators. They struggle to score. This Oilers team, they want to get better at defense. I think this is a game to do it against here with the Predators. And the Oilers off 2 losses. So I'm kind of expecting a low-scoring victory for the Oilers, but the Predators here playing at home, a big game for them to kind of get their act together. I think we'll see a good battle tonight, a good defensive battle. I'm going to go under 6.5 with the Oilers and Predators. To recap the plays, we have Brian on Colorado and Kevin taking a look at Buffalo plus 1.5 goals. Should be a great night of hockey, guys. I think it was a great show of hopefully lots of winning picks and some great fun. So, we wish you guys all a profitable Monday, and after that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
In the spirit of the holidays, we want you to celebrate with your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicappers, and do it at a discount by giving you a one-time 25% off everything you can fit into your cart between now and midnight on December 25th using coupon code GIFT25 when checking out. While this coupon can only be used once at Wager Talk and once at Sports Memo, the value is unlimited and there is no limit on what you can add to your cart when redeeming. Daily, all access, season, pick your team, and even mix and match handicappers as the combinations are endless. Remember, there is no limit to the number of handicappers at Wager Talk and Sports Memo you can lock in, but coupon code GIFT25 will expire at midnight on Christmas. On behalf of everyone at Wager Talk, Sports Memo, and Gold Sheet, we want to thank you for supporting us in 2022 by watching our videos, following us on social media, and trusting us with your wagers. However you celebrate, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.